Hi, today I have Hugo from Orchestra. We're gonna talk a bit about him and then about his company. Hi,
Nice.
Hugo.
Thanks, Youssef. Hey, how's it going?
All good, all good. I'm very happy to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. Yeah, look, really been a big fan of Databricks for a long time. I guess bit of an intro about me. So, I used to be head of data at a fintech company in London called Kodak, and we were using Databricks, but it was also the time we were using stuff like Snowflake, and we had all of these tools, right? And it was very difficult to just kind of make sense of what exactly was going on in all of them, but also to orchestrate tasks together. You know, obviously you can trigger things in data ingestion tools. You can monitor streams. You can leverage platforms like Databricks to trigger and operate a series of notebooks and SQL. But then you get into the realms of DBT, and you start having questions around how you can bring in aspects like BI into all of these workflows. So, basically decided to found a company. It's called Orchestra. And the idea is it's a piece of software that can turn platforms like Databricks into pure end-to-end data and AI product platforms. So giving you visibility and control, not just over stuff happening in Databricks, but also data ingestion, streaming data into object storage, alerting, business intelligence, dashboarding, data science that's going on in other bits and, other pieces of cloud infrastructure and so on.
Interesting. And how does it work? Is it a Python SDK? Does it work with some YAML files that you need to configure?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because, where you've got open source workflow orchestration tools, it requires you to write an enormous amount of code and maintain an enormous amount of infrastructure. Um, and we had a lot of infrastructure already maintained, right? So we had app services, data ingestion modules, Python running in EC2 and ECS instances. We didn't really see the need to tightly couple executing Python code with orchestration where I used to work. So Orchestra is just orchestration and observability. I would describe it as sort of code first GUI-driven. So you primarily would develop in a UI, which is pretty snappy. But under the hood, we're just building YAML files. And in time for our, it's in alpha at the moment, but for some of our very early customers, we're exposing that YAML. So if you do need to sort of control stuff via Git, via code, you can.
Amazing. Can you show us an example, like how to maybe orchestrate a workflow or I don't know, something on Databricks, but also another tool as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I will share my screen. Just go YOLO and share my entire screen.
That's an inception. I see my face twice.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I was when I was working in data, the thing that I was missing was like having a sort of person watching my back, right? It's like as a data engineer, you're always sort of working for other teams, but who's kind of watching your back? This is sort of the goal with Orchestra. So in terms of managing things like connections, it's a very, very easy and straightforward way. You take credentials from your underlying platforms, ensuring they have as little permission as possible. And connection is very straightforward, right? Give it a name, get your access token, get your workspace, crack on. We support multi-tenancy. So if you wanted to have a different sort of account or for different people, right? Maybe your engineering team is separate to your analytics team. You can do it that way. But the beauty is really in stitching things together and building pipelines with all of your component bits of infrastructure quickly. So if I go ahead and look at our little Databricks module that we've got running here, we can see that we're doing some data engineering, right? We're leveraging Azure Data Factory to copy some data into blob storage. We're triggering a load of workbooks in Databricks to, ingest data using autoloader, a couple of sort of quality of life things we do in this notebook here. But we're also combining this with some SaaS. So, here I'm using some Fivetran to move data into Delta. And I'm also using a piece of software called Portable for some connections Fivetran doesn't support. And you can see how easy it would be to sort of add something else here, right? So if you're leveraging something like DBT, or maybe there's a Databricks one-time run, it's just a question of sort of parameterizing the task and cracking on. We also have the option to kind of collect additional data from platforms like Databricks, even if you're running stuff for DBT, which is pretty cool. And in this example, we've got fairly simple pipeline, right? It's not kind of bringing anyone into the loop, but in Orchestra, we give you full observability and lineage of what's going on, as well as running things, which is pretty new. So here, this is a run which completed 25 minutes ago. We have all of the data, we have the task parameters, the run parameters, the duration. You can go ahead and debug it in Databricks. And we can also see that this is leading in to more workflows. So in this case, we're actually triggering a high touch reverse ETL sync and also a Power BI dataset refresh for one team. And then on the other hand, we've got a load of other interesting operations going on here. And in this case, we can see we're trying to do some more DBT and then some more Power BI, but actually this task has failed.
It's very interesting. So I think about, like, as you mentioned, like you can build some specific workflows on Databricks, and then of course everything that comes around, like bring in the data, like that data ingestion, or maybe like once the job is done, how to send triggers. I don't know, can be to Power BI or any other tool. This can be handled over here, and it's very simple way. I've seen like this. The UI is very straightforward, so everyone can create the workflow quickly.
Yeah, and I think something we've seen with people using Databricks in a multi-team context is that it's great for getting everything executed. But when you have a situation like this, where one team is powering something that another team does, they have to write a lot of code to ensure that there's full alerting and communication between them. And that's something which we've really tried to build out. So if we go ahead and check out a pipeline, you can actually add an alert that can basically alert on anything, anywhere, to anyone. You kind of call it like AAAS software, like ass, but that's probably a bad idea. But like you can set the alert on the pipeline or the task level, right? And if there's a dashboard that someone's looking at, they care about, you can say, okay, I'm going to send them a notification if it succeeds or if it gets skipped, right? And if it gets skipped, it means that something downstream is kind of affecting it. And then you can send it to the relevant place. Yeah, exactly. And this is powerful, right? Because it means.
And just one question: Can you edit, let's say, the template? For example, if you send this, do you have any specific template that you can edit, or you just send like alerts like, "Hey, this pipeline did fail"?
Yeah. So the alerting is quite granular. I can get some examples up very quickly. So I'm just going to do a little screenshot because otherwise I'll show you exactly what's going on in my Slack, which I probably shouldn't do. But if I share screen again, so you can see here, we can send alerts to any channel, and you see that it's at the pipeline level, or if it's at the sort of task level, just get the state. A helpful message, this is something which will pass from the error. And then obviously we have links to the underlying resources in Orchestra. So, it's quite powerful because you can tell people that stuff is in the process of being fixed and update them when it gets fixed, instead of them just going straight into a dashboard, noticing something's funny, sending a few messages and then having the engineering team say, oh, no, it is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, right? If you're sort of leveraging an end-to-end platform like Orchestra to manage your data stack, you're suddenly establishing all those lines of communication between data teams, but also teams that are less technical. And that builds trust, which is obviously pretty invaluable.
I love it. It's very it seems to be easy to use, straightforward. So yeah, I can't wait to try it. And since I'm talking about this, let's suppose I'm a new customer. How can I get started quickly? Do you have any trial period or how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so free tier, we get the data space is well funded and there's a lot of, you can get a lot for free in the market. So yeah, with Orchestra, we have a free tier. You can run, a few pipelines at, like an hourly schedule. And, there's a task limit, but it's pretty generous. I would say if you're a data team of, one or two people, and you only need a few schedules, this is perfect for you.
That's perfect. And I have two more other questions. What if someone wants to have more information? Do you have any contacts or email?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. You can find me there, Hugo Liu, HUGOLU, or my email is hugo@getorchestra.io.
I'll make sure to add those details in the description
Yeah,
of the video. And
yeah. I mean, I also have. It's crazy. I started blogging on data just over a year ago, and that's going quite well.
yeah,
So
I've
we
seen
can also add
your
the medium.
I keep following your posts and your articles.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I got a shout out from Ali.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
But
That
yeah,
was
but the thing,
big.
yeah, that was big. It was crazy. Like traffic to our site was like whoosh. Unfortunately, we didn't have a Databricks integration back then. But like it's ironic because that was an article I probably wrote in about 25 minutes, and it's like the second one I ever did.
So now you've raised the bar so high.
Yeah, I know. The only way is down.
And last question for you. What's your favorite Databricks feature?
Oh, my favorite Databricks feature. That is a great question. Gosh, there's so many.
Just one, the one that had, let's say, most impact or based on your knowledge.
Yeah. For me, the thing that really like blew my mind is its ability to handle streaming end to end. Spark
Yeah,
structured streaming for ingestion, basic transformation. You can have a data science model get trained in real time, and you can also now, serve that model in real time using Databricks, and then do analytics on the predictions in real time. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. I don't know anywhere else you can do that unless you build it yourself.
And I think we're adding more features because now you can have the lineage you have within with Unity catalog. So for example, you're streaming from a source, then you're, I don't know, updating some specific table. So this table is being used to train an ML model. You're gonna have the lineage, and the lineage will go through till the model serving part.
Yeah,
And then
insane.
the thing I love the most is that you can also use something also called inference tables, where you can have a delta table where whenever, for example, you are using the endpoint, you can ask questions like, I don't know, maybe house price prediction. You're gonna enter all the details. Those details gonna be stored in this inference table, and also the output. So, and at the end, you can, for example, track the quality of the model if you have a baseline to compare to, and you can also have this integration with Lakehouse monitoring, where you can track the data quality, the model quality. So yeah, I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's super cool. Do we have time for a quick question about the lineage?
Yeah.
So how exactly does it work? If I say, okay, I want to see a graph of what depends on what at a given point in time, like what is going on under the hood there? Is Databricks basically saying, okay, for every asset, like a notebook or a machine learning model, fetch me the most recent sort of queries or operations, and then, you know, calculating it from that? Or is it driven by parsing, you know, a Git repository that's been checked in at that point in time,
So we have
or something else?
so typically you're talking about two things. So we have first something called the Insight tab. So the
Okay.
Insight tab, because we do have Unity catalog, we can capture some metadata. So if you, for example, select a specific table, you're gonna see a bunch of information like how often this table is being queried, the most the users who query this table the most, the table that are joined the most with this one, and ahead, we can also find, for example, where this table has been used, in which notebook, and this is everything like related to the audit, to the some logs that are generated, and Databricks are parsing them and pushing them. And
Okay.
for the lineage part, that's another thing. So lineage part is computed when Spark is being run, then we get those metrics, and those metrics are put that's where we can find, for example, that this table has been computed from this one, and this column relies on this one, and this is really let's say an advantage thanks to Unity catalog, because those metadata
Yeah.
are handled very well, and we can expose them to the customer. So in order to simplify their life, for example. And I think the use case that I found most interesting is people that, I mean, now people sometimes update a specific table. So let's suppose they did remove a column, or they did some change in
Or they
the
change
source
it,
system.
right? Yeah.
How they can trigger or see the impact of this change, and then you can find quickly, yes, I need to update this specific notebook, it will impact this specific table, this specific columns, this specific dashboard, and it goes from the source till the serving part. Can be like an ML model, or maybe Lakeview dashboard, and you can find this easily. And this is also part of the data discovery and asset discovery, because this is also something important.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah. The reason I asked about it over time is that at the Data Intelligence Day earlier this week in London, they demoed that, but there was a filter for the lineage, which was, you know, like, it was a time filter. So it was like, show me lineage for the last half an hour, for example. And I thought that was quite interesting, as it wasn't that, you know, that was not intuitive to me,
Mm.
but I thought it was cool.
I think this one is, yeah, I remember I've seen this in the lineage part. You need to select through
Yeah.
30 days and 60 days, 90 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
haven't I still didn't like played with it to see
Okay.
what's behind, but it's
We'll
mainly,
have
I think,
to we'll have to go away and do some more research.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Cool. Good
So
stuff.
thank you so much, Ugo. I really enjoyed discovering Orchestra, and looking forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, likewise. And yeah, if anyone's looking forward to working out how they can bring Databricks and all their other bits of the data stack under one place, that's Orchestra. Come find me.
Perfect. Thank you, Ugo.
Cool. Cheers, mate.
Bye.